I suppose you all came here for a specific reason, right? 6 services that one can do within ISKCON that are known to be important. And I would add the word unassailable. For instance, production of literature and distribution of literature is one in the category where the Venn diagram meets highly important and unassailable. And I would add accessible. Those 3, there's a nexus point for all 3, which is helpful, isn't it? It's a miracle that we have the opportunity, that the great acharyas have bequeathed us with the vibration of the Guru paramparā when it's in writing, so that it can be passed down in perpetuity. So the word sampradāya has a specific meaning, which is a bequeathment, which means to pass down, and in this case, the greatest gift. And we are sampradāya of givers. And what we give is very specifically, because although there are many ways that one can try to help others, we give the light of knowledge through the Guru Parampara's teachings, so that people can extricate themselves from the material world. As Caitanya Mahāprabhu taught Sanātana Gosvāmī, māyā-mugdha jīvera nāhi svataḥ kṛṣṇa-jñāna. It's not automatic, not svataḥ, that people come out of ignorance. But when jīvera kṛpayā koila, krishna veda-purāṇa, there's an intervention of knowledge. Then living beings who are within the portal of a human body can very readily come to their senses. And we see it very often, don't we, in book distribution, when somebody makes a U-turn in their life just after getting even a smidgen of information. I know it happened for me. I was sitting in my room in suburban Lafayette, California, minding my own beeswax, when my friend Richie Corsa came to my bedroom door and gave me a Back to Godhead magazine, which just happened to be what I was looking for in my life, and all the pieces fit perfectly. And I turned on like a light bulb. But if it had not been for the campaigns of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, Svami Vaiśeṣika Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and our other acharyas, although their campaign is one, it just becomes adjusted according to the time and place and circumstance, then I would not have had the opportunity to have your association and be in the situation I'm in now. So the sampradāya really is based on books. I do have a slideshow, which I'm not going to show today, which I feature all of the acharyas coming down from Krishna, and all of them are posing with books. Even Brahma, Shākarshan's favorite verses are the Brahma Samhita, and you'll find on the cover of the Brahma Samhita, Brahma's holding a book, which is anachronistic because there wasn't a printing press back then. It's oral tradition, but it's representative of what we do. And Rabindra Sarup Prabhu told me when he was helping to edit my book, Our Family Business, that he found in Shastra a reference to how we are the sampradāya of the book. The sampradāya of the? The sampradāya of the? Yes. A few newsy things coming up. That's why it says new right here, just for a little stimulation. We've formed an organization called the Shastra Mandala. And there's a list of books the BBT will be coming out with. Dhanakeli Kamudi, Bhakti Samrita Sindhu, Lila Madhva, Jaiva Dharma, Bhagavat Sandarbha. What's at the bottom? This is very grainy. Paramatma Sandarbha, etc., etc. It's a project which is underway with alacrity and which is imminent and forthcoming. Right, Devamrita Swami? He said Jai, for those who couldn't hear in the back. Also, ebooks and audiobooks are a great research project right now. There are devotees who are working on them in order to package them in such a way that they can be distributed in mass to the public. We do have a smattering of audiobooks. There are more to be released. E-books, we have almost a complete library, but packaging them and devising of the perfect system through which people can receive them and then without too much trouble listen to them, play them, is the next stage. And it is coming soon. This is all breaking news, by the way. We have a language hub where we're gathering together all the different languages that we already have now and assessing how many more there are in the world. There are thousands of languages, and looking for ways in which to prioritize which languages are most important. And again, bringing up to speed as many of Srila Prabhupada's books, as he said from the Vaiśeṣika in 1975 in Los Angeles, print as many books in as many languages and distribute throughout the whole world, then the Krishna conscious movement will spread automatically. Youth for Book Distribution is an emerging program. You may have heard of youth doing book distribution, but this is an organization that has grown out of the fertile and brilliant mind of Ranchor, who is one of the participants in our youth yatra. A couple of years ago, he came on the youth yatra and took charge of the book distribution during our yatra. When we go to Vrindavan, Jagannath Puri, Mayapur, we equip every one of the members, all the yatris, with a book bag, books, language cards. Right, Caitanya? He was just there with us. And we all distribute books. He took charge of that, although it was admittedly his first time. And he became so inspired that during the summer, he had gathered together 30 youths for what do you call that during the summer? When they internships. And they did very important work to help the BBT marketing departments, brilliant kids, some of them in college, some of them before college. And now he's also started, along with others, Gopal Hari, who's the famous Radhika Raman's brother. He's also famous, Gopal Hari. In his own right, they've started a youth group to involve youth all over the world in book distribution. It's a very soft approach. No pressure, because they're under enough pressure as it is, kids nowadays. They get pushed a little too hard, don't you think, sometimes? Parents? Nobody wants to admit it? Yeah? Yeah. So we're trying not to push them too hard, but there's great interest, more than we thought, and we see a great future in it. Bringing up the youth with the values of compassion, of learning how joyful book distribution is, to go out into the great unknown, to challenge oneself and feel what it's like to introduce a random person, apparently, to spiritual knowledge and watch as they light up. It's the greatest education one can have, better than an MBA or a doctorate in any university, in my humble opinion, although the others are fine too, if you have time for it. So, Prabhupada had said books are the basis. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta had also mentioned that our organization, besides having centers from which we could go out to teach Krishna consciousness, should be enveloped by, as he put it, a mansion of literature. A mansion of Vaishnava literature. And so, as I brought up in the beginning, our acharyas are interested in writing and publishing and making that literature available to the world. And we're so thankful, aren't we, that they pass that same occupation on to us so we can make it available to every town and village. And as I didn't mention it before, but every town and village means, in one sense, every language. Because after all, how is a particular culture defined by their language? If you know their language, you're in, mostly, except for maybe in Japan. You're almost all the way in. And similarly, books are the basis for everything we do. Okay. And there's two main points I would like to make, especially for Prahladananda Swami, because he reminded me in the last class he gave that usually an audience can only take away one main point. I'm going to go out on a limb and try to make two. Does that sound okay? Yes. Okay. A few people said yes. Everybody else is a little dubious, right? Maharaj, is this what you told me? You taught me? See, I listened to you. So, advocate, what does it mean? A person who publicly supports or recommends a particular cause or policy. Perhaps we could say this all together, the meaning of advocate. Thank you. So one more time, and then after you do it, think for a couple seconds, and then raise your hand if this fits the description of you. Read it one more time. Are you an advocate of book distribution according to this definition? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Keep your hands up. We'll be here for a while. The word advocate has vak in it. It comes from Sanskrit. There are ways in which the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam describes how subtle desire comes from the lower chakras, and it gradually wends its way up to the higher chakras when it meets the throat chakra, and then you speak something. It's a grossification of thought. It comes out into the world. And as Prabhupada writes in the Srimad Bhagavatam, all the physical objects we see in the world and the way things are organized all come from speech. He proves that in his purport. In fact, an analogy he gives, if you want to build a skyscraper building, you first start talking about it. And evidence of this happened during the pandemic when people couldn't go anywhere and they just talked all the time on Zoom. But things happened. And thinking about the most important or the root cause of our organization and the direction we're going, we've come up with this word over the last several years, which I think is very helpful, and that is advocacy. And that if you're thinking about how to expand book distribution as a leader, and this is the leader's sangha, then really your only duty, or the main duty, or the most effective way that you can do that is to, and I'll pause and see if you have a word that you'd like to put in the blank, is to advocate. Yeah, only 13% of the audience got it. An effective way for leaders, of which all of you are, is to advocate. Yeah, and all you have to say is, this is a good idea. I think you should do it. How hard is that? And if you say it, it has potency. If Bir Krishnamar says it, people move. Devamrita Swami says it, people start making plans. Anyone who advocates. So who can advocate? Let's look at a list. GBC. Number 2. Anybody on that list? Number 3. Anybody on the first 3? On the first 3. The first one is GBC, second is Temple President, third is Zonal Supervisor. Who's on that list? Okay, let's try number 4. Anyone who cares. You better put your hand up or we're going to have Navina come around and rough you up. He's Swiss. Be careful. Okay. Yeah, if you care, say something. Just advocate for it and say, this is a good idea. It'll manifest from your voice. It goes out in the ears of others. On the other side, don't say, oh, it can't be done, it's impossible. We have another saying, which we'll come into later, but is assume it can be done. We can afford to do that because we're servants of Lord Chaitanya, and he's empowering anyone who wants to advocate, who wants to take this up. So the second concept is to grow capacity. What's the first concept? Maharaj, I think it went in a little. Second is? Yeah, the only 2 concepts that I'm hopeful that everyone will take away from this. Capacity. We want more and more capacity to put books in the hands of the people of the world. And of course, we'll talk about assisting them in reading them. And elements of capacity. This is not an exhaustive list, but for a slide, I thought I'd give an example of what helps to develop capacity. Number one is how many communities, or how to measure capacity. How many communities in your area are participating? We're finding that there are multiple communities that are not listed even in official documents, but they're far and wide on every continent. There are groups of devotees. Anywhere where there's a group of devotees who can hear about, who you can advocate to about book distribution, you can inspire them to communicate, to participate in the campaigns for book distribution. That increases the capacity. We saw a marked increase in book distribution, for instance, in Australia last year, because one of the reasons was more communities got involved. And people spread the word, which also means? Advocate. Thank you, Maharaj. That's why they give you the big bucks. Okay. Number two is participants in a particular community. How many are given the opportunity in any given community to go out and experience the joy of meeting people and offering them transcendental literature? Next way to measure is how streamlined is your payment and acceptance. I know that sounds odd, but we've found that there's a direct correlation of how well you've conceived of how to accept their heartfelt offerings to how well you can do on book distribution. After all, if you can't accept their offering, you're not doing your duty as a priest. You have to accept from them, and that's our duty. Sometimes when we teach about book distribution, I start with mentioning donations, because that often is the sticking point for some people when they go for book distribution, is how do I ask for a donation without feeling embarrassed or squeamish? And one is to remember that we don't need the money, but we're giving them the opportunity to participate in the Sankirtan movement and to give something so that they'll be more qualified to enter within the literature. And as an example, just recently on our yatra, which is fresh in my mind because we just finished it 3 days ago, and I mentioned in class that we distributed 5,000 literatures in 10 days on our yatra, which had an average of 100 devotees. And one of the reasons we were so successful was because we had an easy way to accept donations from them, including a little card where they could do phone pay, which 60% of the people do. And because we had that, we did 60% more than we would have if we were just accepting crinkled up rupees. And next is efficient inventory management. It goes to taking care of your books and how you meet them out to devotees very carefully. Because if you treat it like a hobby and you don't know where Bhakta Miguel is, who's got the key to the book room and nobody can go out that day, you're doing a half-hearted hobby. But if you know where your inventory is, it's already planned ahead of time and it's well oiled. There's a way in which everyone has access to books when they need them. It's run like a business. You'll increase your capacity. And finally, multiple streams of distribution. There's not just one way to distribute books. How many do you suppose there are? Let's just have a sampling. Anyone can say a way that they're distributing books now that they feel is, well, just say a way that you're doing. Yes? Who said something? Yes.
Door to door.
Sri Ram Prabhu said door to door. What's another one?
Stalls.
Stalls at festivals and wherever, right? Okay? Walmart parking lot. Anything else?
Book tables.
Book tables?
Book table.
Book table? Street Sankirtan?
Harinam.
Harinam? Anything off the beaten path? Yes? online,
Smart boxes.
smart boxes.
Carry books with you when you
Carry books with you when you go out, yes? Little book stands in homes. There are multiple, yes.
book club reading.
Book club readings, huh?
Data-based value education contest.
Value education contest. Okay, we got to stop there. I know there's a lot, and my main point is, as Prabhupada pointed out in 1965 and 1975 in Vrindavan, when he was speaking to the main Sankirtan leaders, every devotee has his or her own genius. And he said, just teach devotees to be sincere and try. And then he pointed to his heart like this, and he said, the master within their heart will inform them how to do it. And devotees come up with great ideas. Like one of the devotees at our center in ISV came up to me about 10 years ago during japa, and he said, I think I have an idea. I said, what is it? He said, let's put a Bhagavad Gita in every hotel room, just like the Gideons do. And I said, go for it. And a couple weeks later, we were on a CBS, on television, and then tens of thousands, and now they've gone over 1 million from one idea. That's a stream. And instead of thinking, oh, we only have 3 devotees, and that's where all our Sankirtan comes from. Think of all the multiple ways, collect the multiple ways, and have multiple streams of income. After all, statistics show that very wealthy people have at least 7 streams of income. Did you know that? Not just 1. That's risky. And similarly, we can increase ours to increase our capacity. So 2 things. A, C. The A is advocate. Who are you going to advocate to? And who can participate? Anyone who cares. And how about C? Capacity. Okay. So Prabhupada said, by fully concentrating on distributing books for Krishna, one is fully absorbed in Krishna. This is samadhi. Book distribution is a high sadhana. It's not just a way to make money or to give people knowledge, but for the distributor, him or herself, there's a way that you enter into the internal energy and are enveloped by it. We see it in the current generations. The same exhilaration that was felt by devotees of bygone ages is felt now by the youth and the current devotees of the age. The same flavor, same electricity coming through book distribution. So we like to say that it's oxygen for a community. A community is anywhere where there's more than one person that's interested in devotional service. How's that?
Yeah.
Thank you, Kṛṣṇa-jñāna. Always have him in the front row. Book distribution, spiritual oxygen. Okay, everyone take a breath and exhale. Inhale. One more time. How do you feel now? Better, right? Yeah, I know I do. So, there's a way a community breathes also. If you're stuck in a house with somebody and you're doing the same things, you're thinking, what am I doing here? How did I get involved in this? You're at a temple, an ashram, whatever, and same thing's going on. You need a little oxygen. Every community does. How do you breathe? The exhalation is walk out the door. Take some literatures with you. Go meet people and introduce them in a very heartfelt way to transcendental literatures with beautiful pictures of the spiritual world. Make friends with them, invite them to participate. If they'd like to give something in return, if they'd like to join us, they're welcome to. When those who just went out the door, even if for 5 minutes, and we could try it here. If I could send somebody outside right now, when they come back in here, you're going to see a different kind of expression on their face. Don't tempt me, I'm going to do it. You have to go outside, distribute one book, come back in, and we're going to measure your countenance before you go out and when you come back. And what do you think will happen? You look oxygenated, spiritual oxygen, and it'll come into the room too, because it'll spread through the whole room, and everyone will say, oh, we feel better about our lives. We feel better about managing ISKCON now because somebody went out and distributed a book. Right? Say yes. Yes. Thanks. Okay, then we like to give this context for book distribution to the community. There's high sadhana. If you can only go out 5 minutes a month, it's okay. Go out and experience what it's like. We're not going out by rote. We're going out because it's not just a solemn and sacred duty, but it's a way in which to enrich oneself and bring one's consciousness into the stream of the internal energy. Communities who have this ethos where it's important to go out as a sacred duty and who organize programs so that everybody has the opportunity to go out at least for 5 minutes. And as we like to say, when we invite communities, whether they're 2 people or 2,000 people to go out, is we're only going out to touch the pavement. We tell them, today we're not going to distribute any books. There's no expectation on you whatsoever. Don't we do this? And when the devotees go out together, wherever they're destined to go, where it's been arranged for them to go, they take a photo of them touching the pavement like this. And then they're done for the day. And when you take all the pressure off of the devotees, then they think, okay, well, at least let me try. Because one of the reasons devotees don't go out is they think they have to perform. And we notice oftentimes when we do a seminar about how to distribute books, why to distribute books, and then the next day we'll have an organized way that everybody can go out together, then the crowd would thin down. We'd have 60, 70 people listening to the seminar, and then when it's time to go out and actually get in a car and go somewhere, there's 6 people. And what happened to the other 54? They got a telephone call from their mother who needed a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And they had to go home right away to take care of it. And that's right on the tip of everybody's mind, that as any excuse to get out of this, I'll go. So to encourage everyone, including oneself, to go out, take the pressure off, and just say, I'm going to do as a sacred duty. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told his Matbasis, go out every day and at least knock on 3 doors. And he said, even if people close the door in your face, at least they'll think, oh, I saw a saintly person. And their spiritual life will begin. It's so edifying to cross the threshold of your ashram door, your house, or your van if you live in a van. I won't say it. You feel so satisfied when you go out and then you come back in. Is the microphone out there? Somebody else can read the quote. How's everyone so far? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people said okay. Want to say this, Prabhu, you okay? Is this all right?
I'm okay. I haven't slept tonight, but I'm okay.
But this is all right with you?
It's absolutely fine.
Okay, I'm really your servant and trying to do something you'll like. Okay, would you mind giving to Govardhan Prabhu to read the quote?
All the leaders should tax their brains for increasing the sales of our books. January 11, 1976 to Rupa.
Just one more time.
All the leaders should tax their brains for increasing the sales of our books. January 11, 1976 to Rupa.
Just close your eyes for a minute. Close your eyes. I'm not kidding you. Don't make me come out there. Close your eyes. And tax your brain. Just think of one way that you'd like to increase capacity in your zone, in your community, in your own life for increasing book distribution. Tax it. Okay. Did you tax your brain? Did it pay? Paid up? Only one person said yes. Who said yes? Okay, well, what did you get? What idea? Yes, Prabhu, you're so enthusiastic. Say. To a point. a qualified representative to counsel and encourage youth in your community. Thank you very much. And if you'd like to be in touch with our youth organization, they're an international organization. They'd be happy to take into the fold and share all their ideas. What a great idea. That could be a huge increase of capacity in your own community, right? Okay, one more tax. Somebody paid tax? Yes. Krishna Kumar, just initiated, and also worldwide the largest, most prolific distributor of Arabic Farsi books on the planet today. Hare Krishna. Give it up. No, really give it up. No, you're not giving it up. Okay.
Just pray for the Sankirtan.
Pray. This is so important. Advaitacharya started the whole Sankirtan movement by prayer. He sat down and he prayed, and the way to pray is to pray hard. How should you pray? Hard. The harder you pray, the more Krishna hears your voice, because he sees our sincerity. Tesham satata yuktanam, bhajatam pritipurvakam, etc. One more. What tax did you get? Way in the back. And you'll get the microphone in 7 seconds or less, or your money back from today's seminar. Put your hand up if you taxed your brain and you got something. There, way in the back. It's Vijay Prabhu, I can tell. Let's first of all acknowledge Vijay Prabhu. He's been distributing books his whole life, and he looks like walking prasadam. His body is transcendentalized, and he's never stopped. And he's gentle with people. The way he presents, everyone walks away happy. He's been doing it since he was a little kid, and now he looks like he's in his 40s at least. Go ahead, Vijay. Give him up. That's how. That's it? For Vijay, that's all you're going to give him? All right.
I was thinking it'd be good to spend more time on book distribution.
A little bit goes a long way. Spend an extra 5 minutes and see what happens. You never know, it could change the world, right? Yes. So, taxing one's brain, as Prabhupada mentioned, as a leader, all you have to do is sit down and tax your brain. And another way to pay your tax, the easy way, is to have a brainstorming session. We find this to be one of the most effective ways to organize book distribution in any community, whether it's 2 people or 2,000. And that is to come together, have a huge whiteboard or 2, enough space you can write on, and have everyone give ideas from their own imagination and experience of what they could do to help increase capacity for book distribution. And what we find is, out of the group emerges great ideas that you can prioritize, and then say for the next 3 months, 6 months, year, we're going to work on these 5 to 7 opportunities that are just presented from the genius that's coming from the devotees themselves. So taxing one's brain. Here's a few programs that work well. Are you ready? Okay. Monthly Sankirtan Festival. In your community, if you organize a time when everyone can go out on book distribution, this program was started by whom? It's a quiz, pop quiz. Who started it? No, it wasn't started by me. Who started it? Prabhupada started it. He wrote letters in the 1970s saying, at least one day a week, have everybody in the temple go out for book distribution. He said one person can stay back. In New York, in around circa 1975, that meant 350 devotees going out and one pujari staying back to cook the Rajabhog and do everything else. But that was Prabhupada's order, remember?
Yeah.
Remember?
He actually said every day in Toronto.
Oh, he said every day in Toronto. Well, it's one of those things where he starts and then you bargain until you get to, like, here's what we can do, like he did in Mumbai. So it was Prabhupada's idea to send everyone out. And when I first experienced this in New York City, 340 West 55th, everybody went out I was a brahmachari at the time, going out in book distribution every day, and I was thinking, what are all these people going to do? They don't know how to distribute books. There are mothers pushing baby carriages with Sri Upanishads stuffed in the side. And I thought, whatever. And the next day I was so surprised. It was a huge, well, first of all, the Mangalarti off the floor dancing. Second of all, the score was 5 times what it usually was. And that stuck in my mind. And I remembered for communities like our little one-horse town community in ISKCON Silicon Valley years ago when we started, we thought, how can we get things going? Well, at least once a month, let's all go out together. After all, Prabhupada recommended it. And I remember the first day, maybe all we had was 5, 6 devotees. They all went out. We all went out. Came back, and they said, let's do it every week. And I said, how about if we try to get 3 months in a row? And after 3 months, they said, this is hard. Let's do it every other month. I said, how about we just stick to once a month and try to get that steady for a year? And what happened was that gradually a fire caught, just from once a month, devotees having the opportunity, an organized system, so devotees felt protected, they went to safe places, they distributed books together as a team, and it grew and grew and grew. And now that early beginning of Sankirtan has turned into something significant in that particular community. So we call this the MSF, and devotees do them all over the world. I wrote about it in my book called Our Family Business. There's a chapter on monthly Sankirtan Festival, how to start it, how to conduct it. I highly recommend it. It's led in some places to enormous capacity increases over time. Festival events, Prabhu, you mentioned. Having festival booths, you did. That's where people congregate, and it's Lord Chaitanya's arrangements. Kids Sankirtan, if you organize for the youth, when they're very young, so they can go out in a protected environment, you'll find that it becomes part of their psyche. They want to go out, and when they become older, they become leaders in the Sankirtan. Then there's corporate Sankirtan. And there's a way in which many of our congregational members work in corporations. And corporate workers are people too, you know. So if you talk to them and you make friends with them and you bring them gifts all year long, when it comes to the end of the year, it's one of the ways when you mention to them that you're doing programs to expand literature distribution, they're very happy to help. It's become very successful in several places around the world. I do not dare tell you how successful it's been. And I'll leave it at that. Stacks of books. Original conception for this, I mentioned years ago a book I read. It was called The Greatest Salesman in the World. And in his book, he wrote, I forget the name of the author right now, but he said, whatever you sell, sell in bunches like bananas. He said, if you can sell one banana, you can sell a whole bunch of bananas. So why only sell one? And applied to book distribution, which the devotees in Europe did years ago, around the time Navina Nirda Prabhu made the scene, made a splash in the world. The devotees were bringing around stacks. And it's also become very popular now in North America, in India, and many other places. If you present a whole stack of books, 3, 7, it's actually easier to sell a stack than it is to sell one book. Full sets. Devotees are now taking out full sets of books, and this person here is not an Indian. I'm just saying. We have hundreds of such slides. I didn't bring it to this seminar, but back home we have a deck that rolls like a machine gun for about 5 minutes of pictures like that of people on the street who have just taken a set off a table, or sometimes they take it at an intersection, throw it in the back of my car, swipe my card, they drive off. If you have sets, people will take them. They're out there. And it goes to one of the laws of book distribution. Shastradana means people have so much money hanging around, it's really bugging them, and they'd like to find out a good place to offload it. And if you're there for them, and do them the favor of giving them opportunity to give money. For instance, in any community where people are working, they tend to have more money than they need or would like to have. And they like to trim down that extra capital they have. And one of the yajnas that one can perform is to set up a time in which people can come together and for the highest cause of sponsoring books, they can put money, as it were, into a fire pit. We don't actually put it in a fire, but it's the fire sacrifice. We offer people an opportunity at a particular event, for instance on Gaur Purnima, or days leading up to that, an opportunity to give donations. At this point, I'm going to take a couple questions before I go to the next part of the presentation. Yes, Maharaj?
I just want to share a quick comment, if that's okay.
Yes, please.
So I really appreciate how you showed us with AC, advocate, and capacity, how we can improve the book distribution. And we can remember AC by advocate and capacity by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
See, everyone has their own spiritual genius. Give it up for Maharaj. That's it? That's all you're going to give him, right? Just a little bit. Fantastic. Let me just have a brief conference with the Divina Narada. How's it going?
It's going good.
What do you got in your mind?
It's all right.
Okay.
Keep.
Another question. Yes? Tatvavit tu Mahabaho.
Who's the partner that helps Gopal Hari in youth for book distribution? I missed his name. Gopal Hari and somebody else. Ranchor Das. He's from Columbus. He's a disciple of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. I first met him on Youth Jam. That's our regular program we have for young people from ages 14 to 25. We have a Zoom call every week. And I saw this kid. He already had a Das after his name, and he did look like a kid. And he was just sharp as a tack. He knew Shastra, he knew everything. Then I met him in person on our youth yatra, and he said he's a disciple of Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Big potential for book distribution because it's already inculcated in his heart. And after he excelled in organizing our book distribution during the youth yatra, he then wanted more service, so he joined one of our teams at the BBT called Marketing, Communications, and Innovations. And he's absolutely excelled there. He's a real leader. That's who. And it was his idea for the youth organization. One more? Two more? Two more. Ask yes. Mataji, all the way back at 12 o'clock. Good job, Sudhira. Under 7 seconds. Okay.
Thank you, Vaiśeṣika. While you speak and you give us these beautiful strategies and ideas, I was also thinking simultaneously how to make it applicable in my local yatra. And very often when it comes to book distribution, of course we have the temple and ashram devotees who are enthused, the youth also from the congregation. But I often wonder how to encourage this fire of book distribution in the congregation members who may be too busy with their lives and getting a livelihood. So perhaps you could shed some light on that.
I can. And it has to do with the first letter. What's the first letter? Vak. Why do you think devotees at Chaupati are famous for being humble? Because? What did you say? Because Radhanath Swami what?
Advocates.
Because he advocates for?
Humility.
So why are devotees at Chaupati, or any of his disciples for that matter, known for their humility? Because Radhanath Swami, another A, advocates for, it's an H, humility. Inculcation is a word I love. It means if you have a value you want to instill in a community or into the heart of another, in artful ways, bring it up. Where'd she go? She was right there. Oh, there you go. And talk about it. If it's integrated into the speech of the leaders, then that becomes the value of the community. Community means you have something in common. What are our values? Why do we exist? And if you talk about that, it's a value of ours to show compassion. An unassailable way of expressing compassion is to follow what Srila Prabhupada did by himself, to go out into the great unknown and just try to present transcendental literature to other people. And if you tell the story, facts tell, stories sell, and you bring it up over and over and create a narrative, advocate for it, it'll go into the hearts of people, and it takes a while. So you have to plan it and be very deliberate about it and bring it up again and again. It's called the Jericho principle. If you have an organization in which you want to develop a particular direction and you're on a mission, you have to remind everyone in your community, whether it's a community of 2 or 2,000, what your value system is and why you're doing the mission. That's really the answer. Yes, Nirakula has an addendum to that.
You often talk about how with book distribution there's employment for all. So if they don't have time to go out, they can sponsor books. As you said, putting the oxygen into the fire pit.
If elected, I guarantee jobs, jobs, jobs. Yes.
There's so many things to do for supporting Sankirtan, making prasadam for the devotees, packing the books, so many things. So if someone works so much and they can't go out, there's lots of ways they can support book distribution.
Excellent point, very practical. And that's exactly how we started in our organization in Silicon Valley. Okay, there's 2 more. One, the very saintly looking devotee by the pillar, and then there's some GQ model back there with the glasses. The saintly one by the, I mean they're both saintly, but by the pillar was first. He doesn't discriminate, Sudhir, he just gives to anybody. Okay, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. We have a small community. We're in Maui, Hawaii.
Let's hear it for Maui. Give it up for Maui. In the back. Maui. Come on. Your brethren came all the way here from Hawaii and that's all you're going to give them? Okay.
Thank you. And we have lots of hotels. So I need counseling on how to distribute to hotels.
We've got it for you. We have an organization called Motel Gita. They're online, but if you contact us directly at our marketing department, we'll connect you with the right people. There's an international organization that gives all the information and is available to coach you. They'll even come there and help you, especially because it's Hawaii. Okay, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for, it's like, when we are chanting and we bring our mind back to Krishna. So your presentation has done exactly that. Bringing back to books are the basis, as Prabhupada says. My query is that there are so many things to do. There is prasad distribution team, there is a corporate preaching team, and how do we focus? Because what I see in your presentation is a lot of focus. Somebody has thought through everything. So how do we focus and make books the basis of every activity that we do?
Best way to excel in any discipline is to find out who's doing it well and emulate what they're doing. That's the quickest way. So there are ways in which, since the beginning of the Sankirtan movement, devotees following their eager desire to please the Lord have gone out, and Krishna has given them inspiration to do it in certain ways, and they obviously do better than others. If you find out from them how they're doing it and just follow that, then it becomes a simple method. Emulate. Okay, and now everyone please stand up for 1 minute, because I've been sitting for more than 40 minutes, maybe an hour and 40 minutes. And please put your hands high in the air, as high as you can touch the ceiling perhaps. And we're going to say Gauranga in several syllables really slow. Gauranga. One more time. And we'll do it one more time. This is a prayer from our hearts to help us expand the capacity for book distribution all over the world. So really let it out. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. That's how Advaitacharya started the Sankirtan movement. And that's all you have to do. Hare Krishna. Is everyone okay? One more question from Sankarshan Prabhu. How do we accept payment?
Yeah.
But nowadays, especially since the pandemic, tell me if we need a break. Okay. Nowadays, especially since the pandemic, people are accustomed, especially young people, to give electronic payments. So for that, you need to have certain apps. And you need to practice at them, because when somebody wants to give a donation, generally speaking, they want to give it right away. And if you give them a long time to think it over, they might change their mind. So you have to be ready. Here's an example of the card deck. Of course, this is for India. And we have this little cord here. This goes to the book bag. And when we show this card in India, it's phone pay. Everybody knows what it is. Even poor people on the street know what this is. And they all use that. 60% of our donations came from phone pay. And it's the same thing in a European or African or American cities. People are more accustomed now. So if you have it ready to go, and this is, of course, sufficient for India, there are ways in which devotees have organized a online channel just for Sankirtan, so that they can accept donations from people who want to tap their phone. For Apple Pay, there's, name the 2 or 3 more. Pay, Venmo, Cash App, yeah. All these methods. You should have a seminar about it and make sure you have all of them covered and you know how to do it within 5 seconds, because that will increase your capacity by at least 60% in India or in other places. Tapping credit cards. People, that's what they're used to now. Most people didn't grow up with cash now. If they're under a certain age, they just tap, tap, tap. So you have to be confident to say, oh yeah, boom, tap. Okay? Okay, we have help with that and everything else we're talking about through our marketing department, where we're standing by 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to take your calls. So please keep those phone lines ringing. Shastra Dan, we talked about. You can donate. And Nirkula brought up that people like to donate if they can't go out. Here's a traveling Grihastha Sankirtan. This is the trajectory of one Grihastha couple who have went to all these places recently. And then they came back so inspired from breathing the oxygen of traveling Sankirtan that they got other Grihastha couples to start traveling. And one of the effects of this has been Grihastha couples taking their kids. They'll fly someplace where an ISKCON temple is, and they'll say, we're coming to town, we'd like to get your association, and while we're there, we'd like to show you how we distribute books. And the people are more than happy to accommodate, and then they go out in that particular area. And one of the ways in which we're going to develop this year is to increase the Grihastha Sankirtan process. We're going to give portfolios to those traveling Grihasthas who would like to assist other centers. And then, like a mutual fund, they can put in their portfolio and see if they can't get what kind of percentage increase they can help the other center get. And that's one of the ways we'd like to also measure results besides just book points. What do you think? 3 or 4 people like it? Maharaj likes it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's no more fun you can have than Sankirtan. When the devotees come back from traveling Sankirtan, you'll see that they're at a higher level. It's high sadhana to go out, and anybody who's been on traveling Sankirtan knows that's the life. And can grihastas do it too? Say yes. Yes. Yeah, should they? Yes. Yeah, do we want a movement full of madhyama adhikaris, or would we like kṛṣṇa adhikaris? Prabhupada says in the Nectar of, in the Sri Upanishad that kṛṣṇa adhikaris sit around and complain all day, and madhyama adhikaris sit around and think how to expand the Sankirtan movement. So let me take another vote. Would you like kṛṣṇas?
No.
Madhyams?
Yes.
Only a few of you said yes. What are you waiting for, the Uttamas or what? Okay, we have Gram Vidyadan. This is a program that was inspired several years ago with your Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Raghava Maharaj, who's deliberately going to the villages around India. And he reported that he was going to go to 108 villages and place a Bhagavatam set in each place. He said that during one of our celebrations of the Bhadra Purnima. And that lit a fire. And then devotees thought, how many of those little villages are there in India? Approximately how many are there? 650,000. Can we place one set of Bhagavatams in every one of those villages in India? Just say yes. Yes. Yeah. And what happens? We have photographic video evidence of the transformation of the villages that accept these books. They have an educational center. They put it in there. The whole town then rallies around the Bhagavatam. Otherwise, it's like a dry desert. And what happens is other people come in with very odd ideologies and introduce them to people. And they're swayed by them because they don't have the Bhagavatam that teaches the difference between a reality and illusion. So Gram Vidyadan is something I made a video about a few years ago, and just tacitly, I didn't very directly and politically say, do you want your whole country wrecked by people going in and converting other people? But it was very subtle. But it struck a nerve, and thousands of people wanted to donate for sets of Bhagavatams going to these villages. And we've set up pipelines from various places that can go out all over the world. If you live in Los Angeles, for instance, and you wanted to sponsor one of those to go to a village in India, you can do it. Are there people interested in it? Absolutely. Tens of thousands of people have given and sponsored sets for these villages. Then we have value education contests. Prabhu, who told me, tell us really quick, give us the 4 or 5 sentences of how this works and how well it works.
So in different places there are different strategies, but one common strategy is that
whenever you want to break, you could show the movie just to change the
Okay.
air, change the atmosphere.
Okay.
But I think just pull through.
Okay.
No break, otherwise the energy.
Based on Gita, they study, give a contest, win prizes, win certificates.
Thank you. Give him a hand. He's doing it. Streams of income, streams of distribution. Maharaj.
The last time we did one.
The last time we did one.
Last time I participated in one of these, giving the awards. The number one place for Gita understanding was a Muslim. So just to show you how it can work.
What more do we have to say? So, a couple more, what's working well? Sankirtan bus parties. When Bhima Prabhu, is he in the house? Did Bhima come? He's not here. When he came to India years ago, one of the Radha Damodar graduates, he also started talking buses, and since then it's become such a successful program in India and anywhere around the world where there's a concentrated effort by buses to go out and distribute Buktish books.
Namhatas are ready-made communities. And all that you have to do is advocate and help them increase capacity. Whatever level anyone starts at is fine. You don't have to do a certain amount, but the formula we introduce is something more than 0 and not less than 1 is to make a goal for that. We have distribution at universities, which is quite fruitful. It's one of the best places to meet intelligent young people. And you want to break now? Okay, I'm going to bring this. What? Go ahead. I'm just trying to judge how everyone's doing to make sure, because we have a lot more, and we also want to keep you entertained, which I'm doing my best to do, in case you can't tell, and also to inform, also give you ideas, but we also want you to feel vital. And if you need a movie, we're going to show you a 5-minute movie in a minute that will just astound you. You want that?
Yes.
All right. And maybe we have candy or something, I don't know. Okay. Peanuts and popcorn. Water? Okay. Does somebody bring some water? For those who would like it. Just bring 350 bottles of water. Here are the 3 major campaigns that have been going on around the world over the last decade. This is what it's developed into. And the first one of the year, as you can see the timeline, from the beginning of the year up to Gaur Purnima, we have what is called Be a Gardener. Who's heard of this brand, Be a Gardener? Okay, a few of you. So Be a Gardener is a quieter campaign. We haven't pushed it really hard. It's growing, and it is a concentration on distributing full sets of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. I'll show you the results that we've had over the last several years for this campaign. It goes up until Gaur Purnima. Starting Gaur Purnima, we then have a period of time for the Bhadra Purnima marathon. And the Bhadra Purnima, of course, for those of you who don't know, emanated from a verse in the 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that says, when you give away a set of Bhagavatams, on the full moon day in the month of Bhadra, the giver receives the gift of going back to the supreme destination. We saw that as a great opportunity to introduce a time during which everyone could participate in distributing Srimad Bhagavatam, and it's worked out. It goes up until Bhadra Purnima. And after Bhadra Purnima, the last section of the year is called Live to Give. And Live to Give is full concentration on Bhagavad Gita. During that time, of course, there are multiple other titles to be distributed, complementary marketing, along with distributing sets of Bhagavatams, Chaitanya Charitamritas, Bhagavad Gitas. There's ample opportunity to also distribute books in other languages like Arabic and Farsi, that Krishna Kumar Prabhu well knows, and all the plethora of other books that are available through the BBT. Here you'll see the iconic book sets at the bottom and the Bhagavad Gita over here, indicating these 3 major campaigns during the year. Okay? Good? Okay. Here's what the branding looks like for Be a Gardener. It's happening right now. And here's what we did in 2004. And you can see 24. I don't know where I am even. So you can see the various centers around the world that participated. As usual, India has the lion's share. And we had 746 6% increase in Caitanya Charitamrita distribution since 2019. We call this campaign one of the battle cry for it, as they say in marketing, sow the seeds of bhakti, be a gardener. And then we have Bhadra Purnima, and that's the quote. Could you, Govardhan Prabhu, please read the quote?
If one on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, one places Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne and gives it as a gift, he will attain the supreme transcendental destination.
Shankarshan Prabhu likes it.
Yeah,
He's going into some ecstatic symptoms, but that's not unusual. Okay, here is one of the reasons that we did so well last year is because Maharaj, in his last tour to America, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, when he visited the devotees in Columbus, they triumphantly came to him and said, we've decided that we're going to distribute at least 400 sets of Srimad Bhagavatams on your behalf this year for Bhadra Purnima. And would you like to know Maharaj's reply? He said, why not 5,000? And when your spiritual master says something like that, then what happens, there's a manifestation and a transformation that takes place in the hearts of those who have received it. And what happened was that the devotees came together and they conceived of a campaign that we called the GKG 5000. We actually modeled the logo after the, what's that race called? Indianapolis 5,000. 500. His famous quote was that he received from Prabhupada, my books are sold because of the enthusiasm of my disciples. And this iconic photo was turned into this logo. And based on that, here's a look of Srimad Bhagavatam's distribution starting from 2018 when we conceived of the Bhadra Purnima. And interestingly, during the 2000, we had a huge jump, you notice there. And does anybody remember what 2020 was marked with? What? Oh, COVID. Yeah, we had made a goal to go from where we were in the doldrums down here and at Tirupati during the midterm GBC meetings, we made a bold declaration in front of the GBC and the deities that we were going to do 10,000 sets of Bhagavatams come hell or high water in 2020. And then 2020 happened. And then there were some devotees in major parts of the world saying, we're going to sit this one out. Until a fire caught. And that's what happens when book distribution expands. A fire catches somewhere. And there's this sense that we can do it because we can assume it can be done. And look at the jump. We didn't do 10,000. We did 24,195. And since then, we've been developing more and more capacity to distribute sets of Bhagavatams all over the world that we didn't even know we had. And here is our goal for 2026 right here. Don't mind, but I'm going to run over here and point it out. Are you ready?
Yes. 108,000.
Say Haribol. Please, there's some place on campus you can get a tattoo. Get that on your arm or up the side of your neck. We want this. We want this capacity as a baseline. 100. Actually, it's 100,008 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam's capacity by 2026. Okay? Yes. Say yes. Everyone say yes. Because you can assume it can be done. And that's our goal. That's what the tattoo should look like. You can get that anywhere. And our goal for 2024 was 68,000. Here's how it played out around the world. I'm going to go quickly through this. If you see your country or your city on here, just give a shout out, okay? Say Haribol. Nobody from the Far East? Come on, Africans. That's all you got for your country? That's all you're going to do? Okay. India, come on. Who's this? Europe. No Europeans here. Let's say something for the Europeans. South Africa. America. North America. North America. North America. North America. Sorry, Canadians. And you can notice that all these points, these represent expanding capacity. More communities, more capacity. We hit 31,591 total for 2024. Just a little hand of appreciation. That's 34,597 sets of Bhagavatams. And here's what it looks like in a continuum. So we want to take the next 2 years to take some major steps up till we get to the 108,000. Okay? Yes. Bhadra campaign up to this very point, and baseline 100,008. Here's the Live to Give campaign. Gita on the rise. Our goal by 2026 is 5 million Bhagavad Gitas worldwide. Okay? Yes. 5 million baseline is what we want. We want to start from 5 million. And the Live to Give campaign, for 2024, the goal was 4.2 million. And here's how it shook out around the world. I'm going quickly because I didn't get any cheers for the last set of maps, so I'm assuming that you're bored by them. And Haribo, hey! My Moscow. Okay. And India. And the world. Here's what we did. 4.5 million, 4,541,347, where's that a one? One. Bhagavad Gita is distributed worldwide. Give yourselves a hand. That's it? Come on. Okay. India went from 3.3 to 4 million. And Paschatya, which we call the rest of the world, they went from 459,000 to 500,000. And here's what it looks like in Paschatya. This is everything minus India, how it shakes out. North America, Europe. You can see the pie chart proportionally how everyone's doing around the world. Comprehensible from where you're sitting? Meaningful in any way? Yes? Okay. We have a one world team. Yes, we're all individuals, but we're working together as one team. And for that, we increased by 18% worldwide together as one team. Haribol. I'd just like you to know a little freakonomics here, or maybe some fun facts. One world team distributed enough Gitas to cover major global cities. Sydney has 4.3 million people. We distributed 4.5. If we had concentrated all our efforts in Sydney, everyone in Sydney would right now have a Bhagavad Gita. There's 4.3 million people in Chennai. And if we had concentrated effort, everyone in Chennai would now have a Bhagavad Gita. What do you think? Gauranga Prabhu likes it. Okay, Durban has 4 million people. We would have exceeded the population of Durban. Say Haribol. Gita's distributed 4.5 million. Growth of Gita compared to global products in 2024. Tesla was down by 1.1%. iPhone sales were up by only a mere 2.8. App downloads for, what is that? Instagram. Up by 6.3. BBT books up by 18%. Give it up. That's what I'm talking about. Prabhupada saw this sign when he was out and about, and he said, that should be our motto. Cover the earth. We're not playing around here, right? Say no. No. That's what he used to say. You don't mind giving a donation, right? They have to say, to say that they do mind, they have to say yes, but they're used to saying no. You don't mind giving a donation, right? No. Okay, go ahead. How far have we gotten? Earth is, what is that? 510,072,000 kilometers, times 2, to the second. And the area of all pages of the Gita is distributed in 2024 is 129 square kilometers. Thank you, mathematicians in the front row. And we could cover all of San Francisco with that. Nobody from San Francisco? Who is that? See me after. Hey, Bali's here. Haribol. We could have covered the whole San Francisco with the pages of Bhagavad Gita. These are the WSN community's 10.3 growth and book points for the last several years. Arabic book points have been increasing, much thanks to Krishna Mahāprabhu and others around the world who are giving their full attention to distributing this very important title that Prabhupada was very encouraging about. He said, anybody who distributes Arabic books, I take the dust from their feet and I put it on my head. But you can see, 2024, we had a banner year. And another fun fact, who's gaining attention? A look at rising and falling popularity. Bill Gates is down by 38%. Elon Musk, 73%. Taylor Swift, up by 138. But BBT distributed 704% more CCs. Lord Chaitanya is more popular than Taylor Swift. Companies with multi-country operations. Walmart has covered 19 countries. Apple has covered 27 countries. Sephora, whatever that is covered 35 countries. And our One World team, all of us together and everybody around the world holding hands, distributing Prabhupada's books, has covered 68 countries. We got them all beat. We are on a roll. Movie? And now, as promised, we're going to give you a movie break. And so, this movie is going to take about 5 minutes. So,
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So, the question was, thank you, Vaiśeṣika Prabhu.
You're welcome.
The question was multiple ways how to introduce Krishna consciousness to the public. Have you ever met people who say, I don't read? Yeah. 3 people. Yes.
Here.
Okay. Especially the younger sections of societies, we asked them, are you a scroller or are you a reader? And they say, well, maybe both, or mostly scrolling. Gaming is bigger than all the other industries put together. So, go right to the beginning, please. Can somebody hit the lights? So, German film team came twice to Mayapur and filmed for 24 days. They had 33 hours of footage. This is an image film. It's not a documentary. It's not a feature film. The audience is not you. The audience is the 8 billion people out there who don't know who Prabhupada is, where Mayapur is. And the only goal is to somehow inspire them to come here to get in touch with Krishna consciousness. Because sometimes getting a set or even getting a book is a little more than they can do at the first encounter. So this is 90% finished, but you will get in the next few days the final version on your WhatsApp groups that you can share with people. And we're very grateful to the devotees who came to do this work. It would have cost between $50,000 and $70,000 to produce this. They did it as a service. One of them is a disciple of Japataka Maharaj. He's dedicated it to him. And I hope you like it. It's your break. That's as much break as you're going to get. So, can we hit the lights? Turn the lights off? Lights? We took the Gurukul boys to a little yatra to Kumbh Mela and Varanasi and Ayodhya. And guess what happened? There were some glitches. Did you ever have glitches when trying to do technical things in India? Yeah? Like the train was 5 hours late, and then the bus broke down, and then the temple was closed. Have you had situations like that? Did you ever experience anything like that going on? Say yes, please. Yeah, it makes me feel better already. And then you can sit by the side of the road and just, moan or complain or get anxious, or you can just go out and distribute Prabhupada's books. So that's what we did in all of these situations. And it just turned the whole atmosphere around, and everybody really became blissful.
Do you like it? Do you want to go to Mayapur? Okay. We've distributed collectively since the beginning of this month hundreds of millions of books. And where have they gone? And who is cultivating those likely seeds that are growing on the books that we distribute? It's a perennial question, isn't it? You can say yes. Maybe we can see book distribution is that book distribution and follow-up go hand in hand like this. They're one thing, not two things, but one thing. And the more that they're connected, the more we see immediate fruits from devotees going out to the books. Because there are sincere souls, and the ones who meet them most regularly are those who are out and about, talking to one person after another. When we have programs in which people can immediately get the association of devotees online and in person, and there's some systematic inculcation of the values of Krishna consciousness, we're finding in many different places, and here are a few of the brands, and now somehow I'm not going to, because my clicker has been breaking. As an example, in the west coast of America, there's a program called Bhakti Community, which you see the brand of. This slide on the bottom right is Bhakti Community. Bhakti Community meets with dozens of new people every week during their online programs and in-person programs, who devotees are meeting on book distribution, and who then receive an invitation to join a Zoom call where there's an appropriate presentation of Krishna consciousness that people can take to it. There's several others around the world. We've mentioned a few of them, but this is one of the most important aspects of utilizing book distribution to increase capacity. Because when people get the books, and they can then associate with devotees and take up the process of Krishna consciousness, then they can engage in the eternal occupation of unlimitedly expanding the Sankalpa movement to every town and village. What's more, and most optimistically, success is not a mystery, but it's a recipe. There's a way in which, if we follow these 4 laws of book distribution, I can guarantee that you'll be successful in your personal distribution of books and community-wise as well. And the first is your sadhana must be strong. When we advocate for strong sadhana, encouraging devotees to hear and chant, reading Prabhupada's books, chanting great grounds, although Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, don't try to be a great devotee, just try to be a good devotee. It helps if you chant great grounds. And the second law of book distribution, you must get books. It's much more difficult to distribute books you don't have. That's the law. Done double-blind studies and found that this is true. And because the books are available, getting them is important. As soon as you have them, you have the potential of distributing them either as a community or as an individual. One of the devotees recommended that you keep books with you. Who was that? Who said that? Yes, Maharaj. Thank you. Number 3 is the more you show, the more you sell. Everyone please say that. Books are attractive and people are looking all over the universe for something nice, but they're not seeing something nice. They see Coca-Cola that says, open a bottle of happiness. quiz. If you don't sell them, show them a set of Bhagavatams. Will they take it or not take it? Correct. And that's the principle and how beautiful it is. It works every time. Number 4 is, you must organize. An organization can increase capacity. It means thinking about what's going well and where there's room for improvement. If you do that regularly after every campaign that you do, and you try to make at least 3 improvements every month, you'll start noticing that your capacity is increasing. Here's a few success principles that we've emblazoned on our minds over the last several years of promoting these campaigns. Goals are potent. If you're willing to set a goal, then Lord Caitanya will show you the means to achieve it. And we find around the world, if someone's bold enough to write down a number on a piece of paper, something more than 0 and not less than 1, as soon as they do that, that's when the energy starts coming in. If you say, oh yeah, I chant in my head, it's very different than putting counter beads on and chanting 16 rounds, isn't it? And in a similar way, if you say, oh yeah, we do book distribution, do you have a goal? No, but we do what we can. That's a hobby, it's not serious. If you put down on a piece of paper and you show it to yourself, your community, whether it's a community of 2 or 2,000, that's when the energy starts to move. And we call this the wedge principle. Because your pledge is your wedge. As soon as you make a pledge, it opens up a space for you. The next is, it's not what we do, but how we do it that counts. Lots of ways throughout the history of our illustrious organization that we've tried to be more efficient than was healthy. And we've devised means to get ahead that perhaps weren't sanguine. So emphasizing that the way we do things is more important than what we do. And that attending to devotees in their spiritual advancement and interacting with the public in ways in which we make friends with people, not enemies. As Lord Caitanya did with Sanātana Gosvāmī, he probably mentions it, is vitally important. This is my favorite one. In fact, we have a logo. It's not here, but the name on the logo is "Assume it can be done." Could everyone kindly say that?
Assume it can be done.
I found that there's a default mode here in this world, which is to make excuses. As soon as you say we're going to attempt to do something, somebody's going to have a list of reasons why it can't be done. But if you preemptively say, assume that it can be done, which we can't handily do because Lord Caitanya is doing it, not us. We're just the instruments. And I have luggage tags that has this beautiful logo on it, circular. And when I was getting off a flight the other day, somebody was behind me, and I heard this voice that, "That is a great logo." He said, "I like the attitude. I wish more people had it." And this attitude wins the day. It wins the week. It wins the month and the year. Assume it can be done. It's so exciting to say, we're going to set a goal and we're going to assume it can be done. And it's illegal to make excuses. You can't make excuses. It's not part of the forward thrust of assume it can be done. Next is birds fly in the sky as high as they're able. The sky's unlimited. So whatever capacity you have right now, that's your capacity. Try to increase it. Don't compare to somebody else who's been at it for a little while longer and they have a little more capacity. The main thing is, are you doing the most you can right now, and can you increase it a little bit? Great things start in little places, like look at Hewlett-Packard, started in a garage. Apple Computer started in Steve Jobs' father's garage. And it became a multinational company. Of course, we have more outlets, as I showed you around the world. This is another favorite one of mine for growing capacity in a community, and that is workarounds bring turnarounds. Whenever there's a seeming blockade, if we look for the workaround, we often find new ways to do things. What becomes
limiting is making an ultimatum and saying, no, it has to be my way, not another way. Mission-oriented management means there's ways in which we can make all kinds of rules and regulations, but unless they're for the purpose of hitting a specific mission-driven goal, they become bureaucratic and limiting. But if we first have a sense of what we're trying to do, for instance, get to 108,000 sets of Bhagavatams capacity in 1 year, and then we talk about ways in which to do that, that's mission-driven management. You got to manage for reaching worthy goals. Otherwise, it becomes confounding and boring. Don't you think? Jaladutta consciousness. Our favorite place in Calcutta and our favorite dham anywhere is Calcutta. We've been taking our youth groups to Calcutta and showing them all the places that, for instance, Prabhupada was born and where he went to school and Old Tatanga Junction Road. But our favorite of all is the bridge that's over the dock, which is on the Ganga, by the way. The Jaladutta started on the Ganga. You know that, right? And Prabhupada got on the boat. We stand on the bridge. We get off the bus, stand single file, 150 devotees. They have a big kirtan there and overseeing the dock where Prabhupada got on the boat. And the devotees' hair stand on end, even if they're not Uttamādhikaris. Tears come to their eyes because that's Jaladutta consciousness. That's spontaneous bhakti, to jump on a boat when you're 70 and come to the West. But we can do that too. As one of my godbrothers once said, we all have our own Jaladutta to catch. And this book distribution gives an opportunity for everyone to do that. Here's the benefits of the One World team. Builds esprit de corps. All over the world having this common cause. We have our differences, but the glue that binds us together is common cause and distributing books. It gives us an opportunity to share resources. There's a way in which when we get too much into this idea of who got more points than the other person, as far as individuals and individual centers, which will always be there, and it's important to have some competition. But when we have a bigger goal of a one world combined team, there's more of a sense of sharing best practices. And when our ultimate goal is to reach the one world team goal, we're more effective together. I'm coming back. This is the end of the slide deck. I hope you don't feel too much separation. If we're going to boo or cry, don't boo, vote. But this is one of the main points. It starts with an A. Yeah. What you say is creative. If you're a leader, if you care about book distribution expanding and you think, what can I do? Here's what you can do. Advocate. What can you do? See, Maharaj, I'm following your system. If there's one thing you remember when you leave here, it's what? And would you like a little homework? Okay, only 2 people in the front row said yes, everyone else saying you'd love more homework. Could you advocate today to one person? What are you going to advocate? Well, what are you going to say? I'd like to hear your 1-minute presentation, or 30 seconds. Spread the mercy, okay. Just think about this. This is your power as leaders. You don't necessarily have to go out. You don't have to do anything else except for this, is advocate for it. Just get up on your platform, whatever that might be, and say, book distribution is a good idea. Why don't you try that? And just keep saying it, and you'll watch. You'll build an empire of book distribution in your community. I guarantee it. Here's the second point for the day. Do you know what it's going to be? It's got a verb. Grow capacity. There are many elements for growing capacity. And if you attend to those and think of capacity rather than a particular result, you'll see that your community responds in parallel. Prabhupada said, there are 7 purposes to the ISKCON. 7th is to print, publish, and distribute literatures. And he says, by this, we will be able to attend to the aforementioned 6 purposes of ISKCON. He gives us the wherewithal to fulfill all the purposes of ISKCON. Makaruna Prabhu asked me in the class the other day, can you say anything else that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta favored besides just book distribution? And I did say a few things, but I will say this. It is a major theme, or the major theme, to distribute knowledge for the benefit of others. And that Prabhupada emblazoned this in his 7th purpose by saying the 7th purpose of distributing books will give us the wherewithal to achieve the aforementioned 6 purposes of ISKCON. Here's ways to keep in touch with us. We're open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Our operators are standing by to take your calls. Right at this very moment, you can test it if you write to us. We'll get right back to you. With help, we'll fly people in. We will send you information. We'll hold your hand when you feel blue. We'll sing to you. We'll advocate back to you. You can advocate to us. We're open for business. If you follow that QR code, or you come to info@bbtbooks.org, or you visit our website, distributebooks.com. It's rife with information, instructionals, tips, how to distribute books. You can also listen to our podcast. It's called Sankirtan On, with an exclamation point. And we have regular interviews with luminaries in preaching all over the world. Would you like to see the last slide, a picture of Prabhupada? Haribol. Hare Krishna. And now I'm going to have a conversation. Okay, stand up one more time. And we're going to have a repertoire conversation between Navina Narada Prabhu and I to try to entertain you and inform you. And then I'm going to give the awards for 2024. Please raise your hands, and we'll say Go Ranga.
I need to put this one on it. Wait.
One more time, but pray hard. For the sake of one more time. Go! This is the very last part of our program, if you can endure. We're afraid to give a break because you might not come back. Navina, where are you? Okay, you, if you like, wait, stand over here. What? Okay. Okay. You can all sit down if you like, or you can stand up if you like. Navina Prabhu and I are going to have a brief conversation to bring out any last items, and then I'm going to give some awards to the achievers around the world, and there's some very new categories. You may not even know it that you're a winner, but you may have won something already, and you don't even know. So hang in there. Navina, over to you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Have you all looked at the listings in the Back to Godhead magazine of all the ISKCON centers? How many of you have looked at those listings? It's a lot of centers out there, right? And sometimes when you travel, you go to some of those centers, and there's different scenarios that can unfold, depending on where you go. Then the question is always, what happened? Why is it so great here, or why is there no one here? You have some memories of that, or some semblance of that. So, and when I went through California, in the 90s.
San Jose was pretty quiet. It was a small house with some very beautiful deities. Hardly any
Devotees there. And the next time I came through, the deities were in a strip mall, which is just a little shop between a barber shop and an insurance place. And you walk by and you go like, whoa, who is this? And then it was another little house on Bascom. And if you go there now, there are 500 families who are connected to the Sankirtan movement of Caitanya Mahāprabhu. And it's the biggest temple in North America as far as book distribution is concerned. And I would like to hear from you what happened and how it happened and how can we make it happen in our own areas where we know some of those places which were once great and then maybe not so great, and how to make that change.
Well, first I'd like to give credit to svataḥ Prabhu, because he's been the steady in North America and in the world really for representing book distribution, not only in publishing but also maintaining a community in which devotees are centered around preaching and book distribution. He's held fast throughout his whole life, and I don't know how you do it, but you wear so many hats and put on Rath Yatras, you lead so many committees, temple president for many years, and our first goal was to be more like svataḥ and to follow the Los Angeles example. And that's a fact. And to this day, as svataḥ knows, I'm his humble follower and servant. And anything we've done is only in pursuit of the excellence that he's shown in his life and in his pursuit of increasing book distribution, because there's nothing more dear to him in his heart. And as far as our community has gone, we started with, as I mentioned before, a monthly Sankirtan festival. And the devotees, the first few times they went out, felt the exhilaration. It was a fledgling attempt. And I do remember one night when one of the devotees called me and said I distributed a book. I was on a walk. It was the evening. I had already come home, but they stayed out, and the person called me. Actually, I know who it was. It was Malini Devi Dāsa. She called me and said I distributed a book. And I was on the sidewalk somewhere, and we just started celebrating because it was such a big thing. And that same person now is the co-Sankirtan leader of ISKCON of Silicon Valley. And last year, the devotees there combinedly had distributed over $1.1 million worth of books in 1 year. And if I trace it back, I would say celebrating every individual accomplishment, don't take anything for granted, is a heartfelt that somebody who wanted to experience what devotees had experienced in the 1960s and 70s, who asked at one point, can I do this? He said, absolutely, it's open for everybody. And she and others went out in our tiny community at that time and just tried. And every time there was a success, we'd celebrate it. And then when there was a sense that we had achieved something by distributing 5 or 10 books on an outing, we decided to go for a little bit more robust of a goal. And I remember for the weekend we set a goal of 100 books. And the Sankirtan leader at the time had come to me on behalf of the other devotees, the other 6 devotees, to say that they were a little concerned, that maybe this was too much, and it was maybe pushing the devotees a little too hard. And I thought about it on my way home, and then I wrote an article that I published. What's that? Pragosha's Dandavats.com. Something about the magic of thinking big.
and I asked them to read it. And that weekend they went out and they exceeded the goal. And since that time, which was 2006, they've never missed a goal. And every time we have a new opportunity, we set another goal. And it's not for anything more than to see what it makes of us to achieve it. That's what we found by setting one goal after another, each a little bit more out of our reach, each time thinking, well, it happened last time because of a fluke or because of a random donation. We prove to ourselves again and again that we're not doing it. It's Lord Caitanya, but we have to be bold enough to write the number on the paper and announce it and say, we're going for this. And that's what keeps the whole community vibrant. As Prabhupada said in his instructions to Karandar, you should always set a fresh challenge that devotees will want to rise up and meet it. And one aspect of book distribution is especially helpful in this is it's quantifiable. You have a box of books. At the end of the day, you can count how many went out. You can also look and see what the collection was. You can write it down on paper and you can measure it. It's highly measurable. And even if you start small and you start measuring and you make it a point, so much grows from that by Lord Chaitanya's mercy. And I could say that that is one of the driving factors of features of our community. It's just setting simple goals for book distribution and then increasing them. I have a question for you, Naveen Narada Prabhu, who joined the movement when he was around 14 or 15 years old. Little kid, all of a sudden showed up, Nico, Bhakti Nico. He showed up on the World Sankirtan newsletter, and he started doing huge. And we said, who's this Nico kid? Well, it turned out to be Naveen Narada. And I'm curious, what inspires you to go out? You've been doing it your whole life. You're a mature, advanced devotee. You've been all over the world. And what is it about book distribution? What do you feel? What do you see in people? What do you see in the service that makes you want to do it more and more and always show up for it?
I met Srila Prabhupada in my boarding school in the Swiss Alps. In art class, a friend was drawing a picture of Prabhupada, and I asked, who is this? And he showed me the book, the Bhagavad Gita. And I said, can I have it? And he said, no, you can't have it. You know what happens when you tell a 15-year-old you can't have it? That's what happened. So I figured out how to get my own Gita, and I found the first canto, part 1, in the library of that school. And I'm really grateful to the devotees who made sure that that book was up there. I couldn't figure out much about what was written there, but it was a lot of amazing words like transcendental and spiritual and a whole lot of big words that I was not familiar with. But the devotees told me, you keep on reading, and you eventually, especially if you read out loud, you will actually understand something. So every day after school, I sat in the park behind my house, and I started reading 1 hour Bhagavad Gita, 1 hour first canto of Bhagavatam. And slowly things started to make sense. In the introduction to the first canto, Srila Prabhupada writes in the life story, in the sketch of Lord Chaitanya's life, that Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur went out every day as to do their daily quota of outreach, of campaigning, because that was the order of Lord Chaitanya. So I very early caught on that this is a mission, and the devotees have a mission, they have a purpose. It was very palpable. My mom wanted me to finish school. My parents are teachers, they're educators. But I heard that there's something called this December marathon, and school will go till the end of March. And I had to figure out a way and means how to get out to join the marathon. So I've seen that if we somehow try and pray to Krishna to help us to get out of whatever situation that we're in right now, to join the Sankirtan movement of Caitanya Mahāprabhu, Krishna will make it happen. Had you had experiences like that in your life?
Yes.
Thank you. That's why I like to go out every day and just meet the people. Like in Mayapur, it's almost too easy because people are pilgrims, they're very pious. I just walk out in front of the Goshala. And one man, he walked up to me, he was maybe around 80 years old, wearing a very old, shabby suit, and his wife was in a sari. And he walked up to me, and when he saw me, he went, Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi. He started singing. And I said, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari. And then he said, Brishabhanu Sute Devi. And we both said, Pranamami Hari Priye. And he embraced me. And another person looked at the book and was very skeptical. Do you ever meet people like that? Who are kind of standoffish? They're kind of like, what? What is this? And what are you going to do when you don't know what to do? Have you ever been in such a situation? What can you do? But pray. You just got to pray to Prabhupada. If I've ever chanted, if I've ever been a good boy, if I've ever done anything good for the world, please take all that bhakti points and give it to this person. So I was already giving up on that fellow. All of a sudden, he takes off his shoes, he steps aside, and he pays full dandavats. And then he gets his kids to do the same thing. And they're very emotional about it. And I feel bad because who am I? I'm just a postman, as we heard this morning. I'm just standing here with the letter. And do you ever meet people who come in touch with Krishna consciousness and they're more ecstatic, more exhilarated, more enthusiastic than you are? Has this ever happened to you? And you look at them and go like, is this legal? Is this possible? Like, I got up early. I chanted my rounds before Mangalarti. And this person is like, I went to Romania, and what you hear about countries, sometimes is not what it is. You go there and you see, same for Colombia, same for so many other places, same for America, same for Switzerland. You have to go there and actually meet the people. And you will notice that they're actually so nice. They're actually amazing. Whenever I ask people, where are you from? Where are you from? That's where all the nice people live, right? And the countenance just changes. I met some of the nicest people last year in Romania, in Bucharest. It was amazing. One lady, she's working for a media firm, publisher. She came to the Sunday program, and after our little presentation, she said that my generation, she's 30 years old, my generation never had access to this kind of information. She was very, very moved by getting one of Prabhupada's books. So I'm here today because of Srila Prabhupada's effort, because he got up at midnight and he went above and beyond, and all the devotees who extended that sacrifice till it reached me. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful to meet all these devotee communities, like in Romania, like in Moldova, like in Bulgaria, and all the other places that are there. And just to meet those devotees and hear their stories and somehow try to be of service, somehow try to be of help to them. That's what keeps me going, and you also keep me going. I remember we were in Burlingame, California, just south of San Francisco Airport, sitting at a car wash. While the car was being washed, we're sitting there talking to each other. And there's a lady next to us with a dog. And Vaiśeṣika Prabhu, you turn to the lady and say, "Oh, what a nice dog. What kind of a dog is that?" What do you think? Did she answer the question or did she ignore him? What do you think? Answer or ignore? Answer. I just got up and walked to the car to get a Bhagavad Gita because I knew if she would answer, she would have to take the book. When I came back, they were already friends. They were already like really chatting it up. And I just handed him the book and the hand went out. You know, it was a blind pass. And she just naturally took the book. Because I see what works. I see Krishna consciousness works. The Sankirtan movement works. All of you who are here are leaders because you're expanding the Sankirtan movement. And it's not a stereotype. It's not that you just have to sell books. You can make movies, you can do drama, you can open restaurants, you can run farms. You can do so many things, but it's all based on the knowledge, on the wisdom that we gotten from Srila Prabhupada's books. This is our baseline, this is our lifeline, this is our unity. Diversity is great if you have unity. Otherwise, what's the point? So I would like to thank each and every one of you for being who you are and doing what you do. I've been to many, a lot of these places. And it's such a blessing to just see the devotees, to meet them. And I know it's your sacrifice of taking care of those devotees, of doing the brunt work, of carrying the burden of administration and fighting all the fights that you have to do in order to keep a center going. So I'm really grateful for that. So it is that little bit of gratitude that I can muster up every day. At least I try. That keeps me going. And I notice a difference when I get out of the house without books. Have you noticed? When you leave the house without carrying books to when you actually carry books with you, it makes a huge difference, right? All of a sudden you're a man on a mission. Like you're just looking, okay, where is Krishna? Where am I going to meet Krishna? Where is the opportunity? I was in front of the temple and about 12 Indian students came up to the book table. And they're all from all over India, a good private school in Calcutta. And I just told them, look, you should be more focused on one team, less on, competitiveness, who is going to be number one. Just work together as a team. And I know you're freaked out because exams are coming up. That's why you're here. You're going to the Lord and you're praying for good grades, right? You know that feeling. And they took a few books. And then they ran inside to pray for good grades. And then one of them came running out after about 5 minutes. And he ran up to me and he shook my hand. And he said, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is why I came to Mayapur. I got to go. My friends, they're running. Okay, bye. And he ran off. And one encounter like that keeps you going. You have all had your encounters. When you see the lights go on in somebody's eyes. When they go like, yeah, I get it. I get it. This is where it's at. We were at Kumbh Mela and people were there. A few people were there. Yet somehow, when people saw the Harinam, when they saw the books, when they saw the Prasadam distribution, they appreciated it so much. It was truly Triveni because we had devotees from all over India, from all over the world converge together and have a combined yagya, a combined effort. It was like Rajasuya sacrifice. Everybody could see that this is really auspicious. This is what we're supposed to be part of. So, I don't know if that answers your question, but Hare Krishna. You got to do your voice. Otherwise,
okay,
it's not going to happen.
Thank you to Navina Nirada Prabhu for everything he does and for his advocacy here today. Hare Krishna. Now, if you'll direct our attention for the final presentation of the day, which is some awards. Do you have my clicker or do I have it? We'd like to acknowledge several devotees and thank Vijay Prabhu for holding the post of the book distribution minister, international book distribution minister for so many years with distinction and steadiness and infusing all of us with enthusiasm. Thank you very much, Vijay Guru. This is the first time I've done the award ceremony. We have a few innovations this year because we'd like to give awards to those who have acted in such a way to increase capacity of the book distribution movement. And we put together the presentation by taking nominations from around the world. And all of you are leaders, so you know how much response you usually get from a survey or an email. Therefore, if anybody's we're getting zeros over here. If anybody's left off this list, it's going to add to our, there's FOMO, and there's also, that's fear of missing out, FOMO. And then there's fear of missing somebody. FOMO, how's that? FOMOS. FOMS. We have that. And so if you have another person to add, we'll add them to our newsletter that's going to come out announcing those who have acted heroically in the Sankirtan movement. Having said that, here are a few looks. And where's Govardhan Prabhu? Could you please give him the mic? He's our official spokesperson for the Prabhupada quotes.
Hare Krishna. Your book distribution report is very encouraging. If I see our leaders are enthusiastic, that gives me more enthusiasm.
I just want to thank Govardhan Prabhu for being such a light in the Krishna consciousness movement. And I know his heart. He came because of Prabhupada's books. And that's what's in his heart. When you hear him speak, you hear Bhagavatam and Prabhupada's purports. And when you watch him lead, that's what he does also. And we've been dreaming about, we haven't told you our dreams, but we've been dreaming about looking at Africa and seeing the capacity there as bigger than India. So please beat India. Hare Krishna. Say Hari Bol. Anybody? Even the Indians said it, okay. So Prabhupada liked the book distribution reports. It gave him life and so forth. And it's one of the ways to judge how we're doing. One of the ways. So here's our Advocacy Award. In recognition of outstanding advocacy for book distribution. And again, these came by the limited nominations that we got. And first is His Holiness Guru Prasad Swami for going out of his way, despite being incredibly busy, to promote book distribution as a GBC chairman. He took time. Here he is right here. This is Guru Prasad Swami, Advocacy Award. That's what the award looks like. We have printed some of the awards, but we're going to give them out later for sake of time. And if somebody's not here, we're going to send it. You also, we'll tell you what you won also at the end. You won something. We'd like to give an advocacy award to His Holiness Sanātana Gosvāmī for relentlessly promoting book distribution in all the centers he visits as a prime method for spreading Krishna consciousness. Please, for Sanātana Gosvāmī. Amazing what he's done. Just absolutely amazing what he's done. Next is Holiness Radhanath Swami for encouraging devotees in India by expressing a desire to honor His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. And did it work? Gauranga, did it work? It worked a lot. How much did it work? A lot. That's how well advocacy works. Okay. His Grace Achyutatma Das Prabhu for uncompromisingly encouraging book distribution in Russia. He won the marathon. 12,000 points. 75,000 Bhagavatam. He said, this is breaking news. It's coming in right now. And if anybody would like to go to Russia, see me afterwards. We'll get you on a plane, Aeroflot, as soon as possible. We next have Her Grace Vaiśeṣika Devi Dāsi. Hare Krishna. She's from Bhaktivedanta Manor. Goes out of her way, her busy schedule, to come on Zoom calls anytime, any place. She'll come on to advocate for book distribution, for promoting global book distribution campaigns. His Holiness Devamrita Swami is right here in the front row. Right here, he's right here. You might want to give it to a little more. Haribol. This is specifically Devamrita Swami agreed and came on to multiple programs to promote the campaigns. He gave his valuable time to come on the Zoom calls and advocate for book distribution. Thank you, Maharaj. His Holiness Jayapataka Swami. Hare Krishna. Yeah, that's right. The one and only. The amazing. For promoting global book distribution campaigns, specifically, whenever we needed his help to come on a Zoom call, and these Zoom calls we call Super Sundays, when they're coming close to the campaigns, and we invite luminaries to attract more and more people to come on. It doesn't matter where he is or what condition he's in, even in the hospital. He'll come on the camera and advocate for book distribution with the translator. It's absolutely amazing, and it's heartwarming, and it moves devotees all over the world. Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. The next is His Holiness Kṛṣṇa Gosvāmī Maharaj. Hare Krishna. In a similar way, whenever we've asked, in any circumstance, even once when he was in the middle of a class, he came on live to speak in favor of everyone getting involved. We couldn't hear what he was saying, but the fact that he showed up in the middle of a class without the proper amplification, but you could see his body language and going on to speak about it. One of the great advocates of all times in Prabhupada's movement for book distribution. His Holiness Giriraj Swami. Anytime we've asked him at the Sadhu Sangha when he's giving a class, he'll always come out for advocating for taking Bhagavatam sets for Bhadra, and he's come on multiple times for the Zoom calls. His Holiness Swayam Bhagavan Keshara Swami. Who live from the field comes in and speaks to the audience all over the world to advocate for book distribution. His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Swami. Hare Krishna. Maharaj has come on a couple times to speak to wide audiences, to encourage them and tell them that this is the right thing to do. His Grace Bhima Prabhu. Hare Krishna. He's always there, always comes on all the Zoom calls, and he's always ready to advocate. And I can call him 24 hours a day to talk about my great anxieties and how it's going to happen. And he's a kindred soul. Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. His Grace Tredas Prabhu. Tredas Prabhu from Italy. Let's hear it for Italy. And Europe. His Holiness Sachinandan Swami. He's come on our show several times. His Holiness Indradyumna Swami. Even if he has to make a video, he'll make sure he's there. His Holiness Bhakti Ratnakar Ambarish Swami. Ambarishi Swami's ubiquitous and all our programs always coming on to advocate. His Holiness Bhakti Anurag Janardhan Swami. When we conceived of a program for the GKG 5000, and it looked like it was going to be hard to administer because there were differences of opinion and we needed leadership coming from Gopal Krishna Maharaj's corner. I called Janardhan Swami during the morning program in Vrindavan. He dropped everything to get on a Zoom call with me. I said, Maharaj, we need your help immediately. And he said, immediately I'll get this going. Immediately I'll advocate for it. And because of that, the devotees who joined the G5, did they do 5,000? They did more than 5,000 Bhagavatams on behalf of Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Thanks to Janardhan Maharaj and all the team. His Grace Radhesham Prabhu, who has again and again and again and again advocated for book distribution and shown by example how to do it. His Grace Caitanya Charan Prabhu, always ready and has done several times to come on and advocate for book distribution. His Grace Amarendra Prabhu, the great intellect from the Bhagavatam, who is now traveling around promoting Bhadra Purnima next year and the year after. He's going to go all over the world to promote the 1008 Bhagavatams as a baseline for 2006. Get ready. Thank you, Amarendra. His Grace Umapati Das for promoting global distribution campaigns in East Africa. Let's hear it for East Africa. The next category is arts. Sankirtan, arts and Sankirtan work for promoting Sankirtan through the arts. Sounds like Academy Awards, right? Yeah, a little bit. Prabhupada said, Srila Prabhupada pointed out that every devotee has creative potency and inner genius, that the qualification for pulling that genius out of devotees and others is a sincere desire to serve Krishna. We have Bhaktin Shrestha from Seattle for designing the GKG 5000 enthusiasm logo. Hare Krishna. We have Bhakta Shrikar and ISKCON New York Temple devotees for making the first ever fully original BBT music video. It's really a musical. It's like a Bollywood, only for book. It's fantastic. It's one of the best videos I've ever seen. You got to watch it. It's called Then Comes a Hand. It's on YouTube now. They promoted it. Tens of thousands of people watched it, and it inspired a segment of the society to take up the book distribution because of this Bollywood show. Mani Manjari Devi Dasi and Anupam Das, the married couple, for making the song Flood the World to promote the Bhadra Purnima campaign. They're professional songwriters and devotees. If you haven't heard their songs, I recommend it. And we have Somyamayi Devi Dasi, New Zealand, for using media songs and videos to promote book distribution marathons in New Zealand. Give it up for Somyamayi. Innovation Awards for innovative organization of book distribution. Prabhupada said, oh, Prabhu? He's the voice of Prabhupada over here.
All the leaders should tax their brains for increasing the sales of our books.
Innovations, Leelananda Das Hyderabad, for encouraging devotees to sponsor Srimad Bhagavatam sets for other Vaishnava temples in Telangana, resulting in over 400 sets sponsored. Krishna Kumar Das, Los Angeles, he's in the house. He used to be. Here he's back here. For creatively approaching Arabic shops in a culturally sensitive way to distribute Arabic translations of Srila Prabhupada's books. For Smita Krishna Das, Paramatman and Surya Kund for distributing books in South Africa via exclusive books and unique online methods. For Bhakta Jordan, New Zealand, for organizing the One Book a Day program. It was a success, by the way. For ISV Grahasta Traveling Sankirtan, for organizing Traveling Sankirtan for Grahastas. Let's hear it for the Grahastas out there. Come on now. All right. For Jivanath Das, Fiji, for organizing book distribution through governmental health, mental health, and chaplaincy programs. For Lalita Priya Devi Dasi Mukunda Maladas and Team Chaupati for organizing Gita recitation events and kirtan programs to distribute Bhagavad Gitas. For Bhaktin Reshma in Fiji for designing the Art of Giving program to distribute books to public sector leaders and industry leaders in Suva, Fiji. Sharing Means Caring Award in recognition of sharing best practices for organizing book distribution.
That is the actual process of Krishna consciousness, to train others, continue this program so that in the future every devotee in our movement will know the art of distributing books. This is approved by me.
ISKCON Silicon Valley for developing innovative book distribution channels like Gram Vidyadan, Grahasa Traveling Sankirtan, and training other temples. The Loft of Auckland for supporting other temples in New Zealand during their book distribution marathons. For ISKCON Toronto for supporting new temples in the Greater Toronto area and beyond in starting their Sankirtan programs. Here's your Every Town and Village Awards in recognition of outstanding contributions to book distribution in multiple languages.
So kindly help me. This is my request. Print as many books in as many languages and distribute them throughout the world. And the Krishna conscious movement will automatically increase.
Krishna Mahāprabhu for traveling across North America and establishing effective techniques for distributing books. 2 awards today. He's going away with the hardware. ISKCON Mauritius for translating Bhagavad Gita into Mauritian Creole, a widely spoken language in Mauritius. ISKCON Japan for translating Bhagavad Gita into Japanese. Assume It Can Be Done Award in recognition of outstanding contributions to book distribution despite geographical, social, or political challenges.
Formerly this would have been considered impossible. Formerly this would have been considered impossible. But now by Krishna's grace everything is becoming possible. Encourage them all to increase more and more.
ISKCON Ukraine for distributing 3,000 plus Bhagavad Gitas during the 2024 Live to Give campaign despite the ongoing war. Krishna Kids Sena in Kenya for distributing books on the streets despite frequent upheaval in Kenya. ISKCON Berdsk, Russia for distributing books in far east corners of Russia. Remote Outreach Champions Award for expanding book distribution in remote areas.
He wanted that Prithiviti, on the surface of the globe, as many towns and cities and villages are there. Everywhere this Krishna conscious movement must be spread.
ISKCON Lagos, Nigeria for distributing literature in remote parts of West Africa. Sevandidas for distribution in remote areas of North Queensland's Australia. To Norfolk Island, Australia, where there are less than 2,500 residents. Participation Award in recognition of participation in all 3 global distribution campaigns in 2024. Which centers did this?
In the Krishna conscious movement, everything is happening according to the predictions of Lord Chaitanya. But the credit goes to Lord Chaitanya's sincere servants. Thus the Lord is described here in the Sarva Sundara Sangraham.
South America, ISKCON Suriname. They've participated in all. Africa, we have Pretoria, Cape Town, Stanton, Mauritius, sorry if I blow your names, Lenasia, Kenya, Durban, Zambia. Let's hear it. We have Oceania, Melbourne, Australia, participated. All these have participated in all 3 wholeheartedly. ISKCON New Govardhan, New Zealand. Europe, Benelux, Netherlands, Luxembourg, France, London, Soho, Bhaktivedanta Manor. North America, Alachua, El Paso, Texas, Rochester, New Goloka, Sacramento, Houston, Naperville, Connecticut, Richmond, Baltimore, Fort Lauderdale, Atlanta, Laguna Beach, Utah, Boston, St. Louis, Silicon Valley, Washington, D.C., Tampa, Philadelphia, Minnesota, Dallas, like Vishnu Sahasranam, Toronto, Brampton, Milton. That was all of them. Prabhupada Disciple Awards, as carrying on the legacy that was started by Vijay Prabhu. We're announcing these. In recognition for earning the most book points during of all of Srila Prabhupada's disciples.
My books are distributed by the enthusiasm of my disciples.
Ramdas Swami for earning the third most book points among all of Srila Prabhupada's disciples. His Grace Brigapati Das for earning the second most book points among all of Srila Prabhupada's disciples. Solish Jaipataka Swami for earning the most book points among all of Srila Prabhupada's disciples. Regional Achievement Awards, time you've all been waiting for accumulating the most book points in a given region.
Whenever I get a report of my book selling, I feel strength. Even now in this weakened condition, I have got strength from your report. You should know that in this work you have Krishna's blessings.
Regional Achiever Award for Africa. Top number 1, Phoenix, Mauritius. Number 2, Nairobi, Kenya. Number 3, Durban, South Africa. For Mayapur, for Asia, Mayapur, number 1. New Delhi, number 2. Juhu, number 3. Commonwealth of Independent States, number 1, Moscow, Gitanagari. Number 2, Moscow. Number 3, St. Petersburg. For Europe, number 1, London, Soho. Number 2, Sankirtan Dham, TST, Italy. Tell Ma to save it later. Swansea in UK, number 3. From Latin America, Buenos Aires, Argentina, number 1. Okay. Comaro? Coirmaro? Mexico, number 2. Cortiba, Brazil, number 3. Give it up for Brazil. North America, number 1. ISKCON of Silicon Valley. Number 2, Los Angeles. That's Savas back there. Number 3, Atlanta Krishna Life. Haribol. Congratulations. We will be in touch with you to deliver your certificates. Tell them what they've won, Vaiśeṣika Das. Okay. You've won this valuable merch that we'll be sending to you, all the winners. Plus we have a bag full of certificates, the ones that we could print for here. If you happen to be here and you've won something, you can come up to us afterwards and we'll give you your actual certificate. It's printed here on Indian paper with Indian ink. Only the best for everybody. So congratulations to all of the devotees who came here today. I'm so surprised that you stayed through the whole thing. Really, I am. And you didn't even get up once, or you got up twice for the Gauranga. And I'm deeply touched. I thank you very, very, very much for coming to this. And we're ready to help in any way that we can. We have no other interest whatsoever except to expand the capacity around the world and to assist you in advocating for your area so you can expand book distribution. And I have one last thing I'd like to say to you all, if I might. Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipano Saddharma Samstapako Lokanamita Karino Tribhuva Manyo Shadasyakaro. Wait, start from the top. Everyone together, it's in unison. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premamritambo Nidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Priyo Priyakaro Nirmatsaro Pujito Shri Caitanya Kripabaro Bhuvi Bhuvo Bharavahantarako
Vande Rupa Sanātana Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Nana Shastra Vicharanai Kanipuno Sadharma Samstapako Lokanamittakarino Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyakaro Radha Krishna Padara Vinda Bhajana Nandena Mataliko Vande Rupa Sanātana Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Shri Gauranga Gunarna Varnanavido Shadha Samridhyanvito Papotapa Nikrintano Tanubrita Govinda Ganamrita Anandam Buddhivardhanaika Nipuno Kaivalya Nishtarako Vande Rupa Sanātana Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Chakvaturnamashesha Mandalapati Shrenim Sadatu Chava Utvadina Ganesha Ko Karunaya Gopina Kantashrito Gopi Bhavara Samritabdi Lahari Kalola Magno Mohu Vande Rupa Sanātana Raghuyago Jiva Gopalako Kujat Kokila Hamsa Sara Sagana Kine Mayura Kule Nana Ratna Vibara Mula Vitapa Shri Yukta Vrindavane Radha Krishna Maharnisha Prabhajatau Shri Varta Doyo Muda Vande Rupa Sanātana Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Sankhya Purvaka Namagana Natidi Kalavasani Krito Tahara Vihara Kari Vijato Chatyanta Dino Chayo Radha Krishna Gunasnater Madhurima Nandena Samohito Vande Rupa Sanātana Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Radha Kunda Kate Kalinda Tanaya Tire Chabam Shivate Premon Madhavashara Shesharashaya Rasto Kamato Sada Gayanto Chakara Hare Gunavaram Bhava Vibhuto Mura Vande Rupa Sanātana Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako Last chance Hey Radhe Raja Devake Chalalite Hey Nanda Suno Kuta
Shri Govardhana Kalpa Parapatale Kalindi Banye Kuta Goshanta Viti Sarvato Rajapure Kedar Mahavivalo Vande Rupa Sanātana Gosvāmī. One more time. Vande Rupa Sanātana Gosvāmī. Shri Jiva Gopala Gaur Premanande. Just to prove that everybody's a winner, here at the Book Distribution Seminar, we have a gift, a parting gift for everybody. Everybody's a winner. We have gifts. I'll be right over here, won't I? Right here only, to give a gift to everybody who attended today. So if you'd like a gift, which is a brand new 2025 Tilak ball, then please come up and get a gift before you leave.